Cowboys. We stand on business. We stand on business. Dak Prescott. Is he the MVP? Disturbing news. Von Miller is accused of assaulting his pregnant girlfriend. Will the MVP be out of Philly? San Francisco treat or Mahomes in KC? Or will Dak Prescott and the Big D lead the way? Listen, this is another one. Sports Bucks with Steve. We appreciate you for stopping in and dropping by. Please dust off your feet and hit that like and subscribe button. This is Sports Bucks. Another one and another one. Check it out.
My mom and dad used to fight about money all the time. Then one day, I heard them talking about this guy, some uncle I never knew, called Uncle Sam. Well, they say this Uncle Sam guy wanted them to pay him like $1 gazillion, and they didn't have $1 gazillion. So they called this company they heard on the radio called the Tax Doctor. And the Tax Doctor worked with Uncle Sam's people. I think they're called the IRS. And they were able to work it out so my mom and dad didn't have to pay Uncle Sam very much money at all. So now mom and dad are happy, and I'm happy too. Thanks, Tax Doctor.
If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS or state, call now and pay less.
Call 800-268-1055. That's 800-268-1055. 800-268-1055.
It's a bird!
It's a plane!
No, it's Super Roth!
Okay, a gimmicky opening for a commercial about Super Roth Universal Life Insurance, but I'm sure it got your attention. Now, what is a Super Roth, you ask? It's a permanent indexed universal life insurance that's totally liquid and easily accessible once it matures. Can be used to supplement retirement savings or a death benefit, or both. Has no income or contribution limit. Has no 5-year rule like Roth IRAs. Has no 10% penalty for accessing the funds before age 59 and a half. Oh, and the average historical returns are 5 to 7% annually. Tax-free. Super Roths also lock in gains, which means you don't lose your money when the market is down. Sounds incredible, right? Sounds super? Super Roths are the way of the future, specifically your future. To see if you qualify for a Super Roth, go online to thesuperroth.com.
And another one, Sports Bucks with Steve. We thank you once again for tuning in. Please like and subscribe. Please wipe your feet when you're coming through the Welcome Center and welcome home. You are now with the host with the most, Wealth Coach Steve, Mr. Masters of Business Administration, Certified Financial Fiduciary, Estate and Retirement Planner, here to help service you. And we want to thank all of our sponsors, the Tax Doctor, Genesis Family Dentistry, Dr. Stacy Austin and the team. We want to thank Figs Wills and Trust. We're doing some really, really good things right now, making wills and trust affordable. Let's avoid probate and make sure that they don't hate on your plans for your estate. At figswealthpartners.com. Give us a call. You can also book an appointment. Our attorneys are licensed in all 49 states. The only one we're not licensed in is Louisiana, where they don't operate. But if you can hear this show, we can protect your dough. Fig Wealth Partners. And let's go. Let's go. So I want to talk about it right now. Let's get into it. Cowboys stand on business. Last night, if you didn't see the game, you watched the Dallas Cowboys. First of all, I want to give a shout out and kudos to Deron Anything But Bland for his performance this season. He's been excellent in his ability to take a house call, right? So Deron Bland has been the pick six king and set an NFL record in their game on this previous Thursday's Thanksgiving, where he scored a touchdown, a pick six against Sam Howell and the Washington G.I. Joe Commanders. And when the Dallas Cowboys were very victorious in a thrashing of their rival Washington football team. And Deron Bland has now set the mark for 5 pick six in a season. Now, we say that, and he was the NFL's Defensive Player of the Month. He's in the running for the NFL Defensive Player of the Year. However, he had a very tough night last evening against the Seattle Seahawks. Now, as a Cowboy fan, you guys who can see me on video, I've been a Cowboy fan for a long time. So I don't believe in the setup that the NFL prognosticators and experts, so-called experts, will try to tell you Dallas was favored by this much and they anticipated it to be not a contest. Anyone who's ever played professional sports or played sports at any competitive level know that was nonsense. Did you see have you paid attention to the Seattle Seahawks roster? They have Megatron Part 2 and DK Metcalf. There's nobody that should be that big, that cut up, that strong, and run that fast. He set the mark this year for the highest miles per hour with 22 point something that beat Tyreek Hill's mark. DK Metcalf was made out of a laboratory. I don't know what you do with somebody like that. And Geno Smith, who I've known since he's been a kid playing in Miramar High School down in South Florida, had a good game. Geno is a top 15, 16 quarterback in the NFL. He's not a scrub. He is a B to, on a good day, B plus. We saw the B plus version of Geno Smith. And we saw the best Seattle Seahawks version of themselves in that game against the Dallas Cowboys on Thursday night. But anyone who sits back and says that the Dallas would just dominate them, they're led by a Hall of Fame head coach to be in Pete Carroll. They were playing against someone that they're familiar with in Dan Quinn, who Pete Carroll and his staff were familiar with. They know what Dan likes to do. Maybe that had a part in playing how competitively close the game was. So we also need to understand that played a part and a role in what was a competitive football game. I was not surprised at all. Not at all that it was a close game. What I was surprised, though, honestly, was how porous the secondary did play. And I'm starting to wonder if politics and favoritism is playing a role in who is playing on the field, because the secondary on that slant that DK Metcalf caught and scored a 73-yard touchdown was atrocious. Where was Donovan Wilson on that play? Where was Malik Hooker on that play? We can say that Bland had a bad game. He had a horrible first half, but you were supposed to have safety help over the top. I don't know what Donovan Wilson's keys was on that play or where he was, but it was a very, very bad play by him. And so he did not help have coverage over the top. Metcalf is a problem, folks. And DK Metcalf is a guy that if you throw him the ball enough and you get past some of the theatrics and the emotional stuff that he does, he's a freak of nature. Deron Bland is a kid that was a fourth or fifth round draft pick that has been an absolute find. Once again, you've got to give Will McClay and his team and his staff a tremendous rose of flowers or cologne for finding a kid like that. And you've got to give my DC and my Al in particular, our secondary coach, a lot of credit. But yesterday's game was, we got to hope as Cowboy fans, was not the standard, because it was a very poor game. Now, I'll say this. The officials, and I've been saying this, guys, you might have not heard me say this a lot on YouTube, but I post a lot in different places. They're trash. Let's call it what it is. NFL officials are arguably the worst of professional officials there is. You can make a case for the NBA and how bad they are, and everything's a foul, nothing's a travel. But the NFL officiating has gotten worse and worse every season under Roger Goodell. And what we saw last night was flag football, literally. Flag on the play. It was just so bad that all you could constantly hear from these officials throughout the game was a familiar sound that you would hear when what you don't want to hear when you are a fan of a team or any particular team, and you're sitting back saying, man, can you allow these guys to play the game? Well, guess what? I believe this is all I heard. All night long is what we heard. Whistles. There's something that has to be done about the officiating. Some of the pass interferences calls, and I heard some guys, and this is what kind of bothered me about the broadcast. Al Michaels and the rest of these guys got upset about the pass interference call that was called on the Seattle Seahawks, where it looks like Woolen, I believe, pushed the shoulder. First of all, you don't know what type of force that was when he shoved his shoulder when you're trying to catch a ball. That was pass interference. And they didn't like the call. But when we go back and look at the pass interference on Gilly that they called, he barely touches the shoulder of the guy. They didn't say anything at that point. They had no uproar. That put the ball, it was a 3rd down and 8 or 3rd down and goal for Seattle at that time. That put the ball, because of that flag, it put them on the 1-yard line, 1st and goal. They scored a touchdown the next play. Then they turn around and did the same thing at the end of the half where they threw a flag. Where Duran, does he get there a little bit early on the shoulder? Yeah. And that put him on the 1-yard line where the kid from out of Ohio State, in Jogba, dropped the ball. They originally ruled it a touchdown, and then they went back to the replay. It didn't matter. You put him on the 1-yard line in the half. That was 2 big PIs that were touchdowns against Dallas. Not he might have hit his face mask, and I hear the rest of the haters crying about Dallas's Jerry Jones's money is good now with the NFL. Are you kidding me? Dallas is on the short end of every possible 50-50 call you can imagine in when it comes to these big games. There's always a flag, there's always a play, there's always something that happens to Dallas in these games that doesn't typically go their way, go our way. And I see it over time and time again. And it's disgusting when I hear people say that Jerry Jones somehow paid the refs. What are you talking about? We're the most penalized team in the league. Now, this doesn't fall short on me, by the way. Mike McCarthy, let me give you some facts. When he was the Green Bay Packers head coach, they were the least penalized team. When he becomes the Dallas Cowboys head coach, the same guy, they're the most penalized. Why do you think that is? The star is why. The star is why. They're the most penalized team. So he just forgot how to have discipline? Or is this what we're saying? But Green Bay, his situation in Green Bay, these guys were so disciplined and was rarely ever penalized? Nonsense. The NFL referees are atrocious. Point blank. But Dallas Cowboys got it done in a very competitive game, which I was not surprised by. We know people play up against Dallas, but especially in a prime time game where everybody's watching. You embarrass me in front of my wife and kids and things. So you know they were going to come out and play, man. No doubt about it. I knew that the Seahawks were going to have a good game. And they have studs everywhere. Corners, the receivers, the running back is a nice kid. The defensive line, are you kidding me? They added the kid from the Giants. That's a good team. Bobby Wagner, Hall of Famer, still getting it done. That's a good football team who just happened to run into a tough stretch. They lost to the Rams, by the way, and the Rams, somehow, the win we had against them is still not a good win. You can't make this stuff up. But I did want to play before I take a little bit of I'm not going to take a break, but I want to show you something. And this is the things that drives me crazy when you talk about these teams and how they play. But let me show, I got to play a quick commercial just to bring some folks in. This is sponsored by Genesis Family Dentistry. Dr. Stacey Alston, if you're in the Charlotte area, please check them out.
More children need sleep for proper development, and sleeping disorders like snoring or sleep apnea may be robbing them of the rest they deserve. At Genesis Family Dentistry, Dr. Stacey Alston not only provides the finest dental care, but free screenings to identify airway issues too. And your children can get screened for more issues, such as teeth grinding, thumb sucking, tongue ties, and more. Contact Genesis Family Dentistry, 980-292-8299. Online at genesisfamilydentistry.nc.com.
Genesis Family Dentistry.
Cover Now is a national campaign aimed at the education and awareness of the devastating effects of opioid and heroin abuse and curbing drug and alcohol addiction in the United States. Recover Now is sponsored by treatment facilities nationwide. Many of them have been where you are, and they want to help by spreading a message of hope and recovery. They're working hand in hand with major insurance companies nationwide that can help you or a loved one get clean in 7 to 30 days. Recover Now is embarking on a national outreach campaign on TV and radio to promote anti-addiction messages. So if you, a loved one, or someone you know has a problem with drugs or alcohol, do not wait. A new life for you could be 30 days away. Call us right now. I promise this call can change your life. Sponsored by the Detox and Treatment Helpline.
800-936-5087. 800-936-5087. That's 800-936-5087.
And that's important for folks out there that are struggling. That detox hotline is a number you should definitely call. You have a family or a loved one at 1-800-936-5087. That's 1-800-936-5087. Get the help you need. Don't forget also to call Tax Doctor at 800-663-5107. 1-800-663-5107. And don't forget, U.S. Medical Supplies is doing some really things with diabetes and giving you some better pricing on that one. That number is 800-628-7226. That's 1-800-628-7226, U.S. Medical Supplies. But I wanted to play you guys a little bit of thing about, because we talk about Dak's my quarterback, and is Dak the MVP? And this video is courtesy of X, and Fox Sports, with Emmanuel Ocho, who has been kind of coming around a little bit and not being such an Eagles homer as we've seen in the past. He is now starting to say some things about Rain Dakota Prescott that is, he's not being Ocho, or not, I'm sorry, not being shady or joy. And so I wanted to play you this video courtesy of Speak and Fox Sports.
Dak Prescott has an opportunity to win this MVP award for my money.
He does.
Because what Dak Prescott has the opportunity to do is play the Seahawks with the winning record. Mm-hmm. Then he has the opportunity to play the Eagles and see Jalen Hurts, who many say he outplayed the first time they saw each other, though the Eagles won with the winning record. Then Dak Prescott has the opportunity to see Josh Allen, who currently leads the NFL in touchdown passes. And people say Josh Allen is the second most talented quarterback in football. Then he has the opportunity to see both Tua Tagovailoa, who's top in MVP right now, top 3, and Tyreek Hill, Then he has the opportunity to see the 8-3 Detroit Lions winning record. Dak Prescott has a better opportunity than Jalen Hurts, than Patrick Mahomes, than Tua Tagovailoa to win MVP because he has greater foes and he has greater Goliaths. And if he can slay the Goliath of the Eagles, the Goliath of the Dolphins, if he can slay those Goliaths, then I do think it will catapult him over an individual like Mahomes or Hurts who's slaying a common man. Dak Prescott.
And I thought that was interesting when he said he's slaying the common man. I thought that was a very poignant conversation that Acho did bring out in his statement that he made. So let's just look at Dak Prescott and this MVP discussion. There's been some other things that have come out. I'm not even going to play it. I was so aggravated by this guy Carton, whatever his name is, who is a former convicted of a federal crime for fraud, by the way. Somehow he has a show on Fox to talk about sports. And I don't know if he goes into gambling and things of that nature, but he said something that Dak becoming a father is a mistake and will be a distraction for him. And it was just, and you could see some of the guys on there, Greg in particular, that used to play for the Vikings and the Packers, I believe, was just kind of like, man, where are you going with this? Like, it was just ridiculous of a take. And I'm not even going to let that even be played on our show. But he made that comment, but whatever, like, that's just stupid. But I want to show you why Dak Prescott. I'm going to go over some quick numbers real quickly as we kind of talk about it. Let me play my other commercial. I need to get my sponsors in, folks. Without these folks, it's the show. I can't have a show. So here's Wills and Trust, but I'm going to read you the numbers as we finish this little commercial. Check this out.
Looking to protect your legacy and leave your family in solid financial health by establishing a living will or trust, but you're not sure where to start? At Big Wealth Partners, you can get comprehensive, budget-friendly wills and trust planning. Thanks to the powerful Estate Guru software, you get access to the attorneys you need anywhere in the nation. Wills and trust planning starts as low as $699, but with the promo code #SportsBucks, you'll get $100 off regular fees. Get started at BigWealthPartners.com.
And so that was Wills and Trust, folks. We are doing some promos. If you call us or you go to figwealthpartners.com, set an appointment, we are definitely giving you $100 off by mentioning the promo Sports Bucks. So that's $100 off on the fees and services. We are able to do Wills and Trust, affordable revocable trust, folks. If you're a caller, you're going to get, I think they start as low as $6.99 on some of the wills and trusts, and obviously it will be a little bit more than that when we enter different fees. But we're going to take off $100 just by mentioning Sports Bucks. There'll be another $100 off in addition to that on our software fee. So we are not attorneys, again, just facilitators. We are estate planners and consultants working with a team of attorneys throughout the country. But I did want to end you guys with just a couple of numbers about why I believe Dak is the MVP. I kind of already mentioned the thing about Von Miller. Von Miller has sort of turned himself in, and he's a future Hall of Famer, has several kids with this young lady, and hopefully they get that fixed and figured out, because that's, you don't want to put your hands on a woman. So Von, hopefully that's figured out, and hopefully you and your lovely girlfriend can work that out. I believe she's only maybe like 4 to 6 weeks pregnant, so it's fairly early on in the pregnancy, and so it sounds worse when you hear, oh, he hit a pregnant woman, but she's probably not really showing anything right now and early in the pregnancy. Not excusing if he did do it, it's alleged, because you definitely don't want to put your hands on a woman at all. So hopefully that gets resolved. But I did want to read you some stuff about Dak and his stats. If you can take a look at what's going on. So Dak for MVP. So Dak says this, with all of the praise and kudos that he's been getting. So currently Dak Prescott has thrown for 26 touchdowns against only 6 interceptions. And remember, 3 of those interceptions came against the 49ers. So late in the game, he's trying to make some plays. Things happen. So it was a tough game. But Dak Prescott is first in so many categories. Second, I believe, in QBR. But he's in the last, 6 weeks, I think 6 weeks or 7 weeks, Dak Prescott has thrown for 20 touchdowns, folks, against 2 interceptions. 20. The next person down the list is Herbert, Purdy, and some other guy. They got 10. We keep wanting to give the award for MVP to the team that has the best record, but are the Philadelphia Eagles a juggernaut that we think they are? Or have they been benefiting from these atrocious referees and just having a schedule where they play all of the good teams in Philadelphia? Did we think about that? How do you get the Miami Dolphins in Philadelphia? How do you get the Buffalo Bills in Philadelphia? How do you get the Dallas Cowboys in Philadelphia? How did you get the Minnesota Vikings in Philadelphia? And the only game you've had to play outside of Philadelphia against a good team was Kansas City, and we know what the Chiefs did. I wouldn't allow the receivers for the Kansas City Chiefs to hold my niece, a baby, because I'm scared they might drop her. They were that bad. So you should have lost to the Chiefs. Buffalo should have beat you. You got away with a hold against the Chiefs. But and the first touchdown, the receiver, Jacquez, or whatever his name is, was holding clear as day. And they allowed it to go anyway. So they've gotten away with so many different things. And I picked them, by the way, to still beat the 49ers this weekend because that Philly green is green. And that's what I'm going to say. But Dak Prescott, Jalen Hurts has more turnovers by a wild margin. Dak Prescott has more touchdowns. Throwing the football is what a quarterback is normally supposed to do. Yes, use your legs. But the Philly tush push has accounted for Jalen's touchdowns at the 1 yard line. So that's a big part of it. I like Jalen. Is he the MVP of the league? No. Has he had clutch moments? Absolutely. Have other teams blown it? Absolutely. Against the Eagles. So Dak Prescott says this, and I'll stop at this as we get ready to get out of here. He says he's going on from many critics to so many now praising him and talking about him and being in the MVP conversation. He says this: there's no difference when they are hating me and calling for my position. I'm blessed. I am super blessed. And I think about that each and every day that I wake up. I'm grateful for that opportunity to do that, and I go and attack the day. I understand that no one's opinion defines me, and that's the great part about life. That's the great opportunity that we all have, that people can say whatever they want. But I have the pen. I have the paper. And I am the one writing. Because as well as I am now. Now. I appreciate them, but I don't care about their opinions right now any more than I did when they were calling for my spot. As I said, I'm blessed. I'm blessed. I'm blessed. This last year has been a reflection of that. A lot of great things have happened in my life, and they are going to continue to happen in my life because of my mindset and where I put the value of life. Dak Prescott right now is the MVP. He single-handedly helped keep the Dallas Cowboys in that game last night against the Seattle Supersonics because the defense did not show up until a few fourth quarter stops on fourth down. Dak Dakota Prescott right now is your NFL MVP. This is Sports Bucks with Steve. Hey, y'all, we're going to see y'all next week. We appreciate you for dropping by. Please hit that like and subscribe button when you go to my YouTube channel, and tell a friend. You hear a podcast, we're everywhere. Apple Music, Spotify, we're all over. We appreciate you for once again. We out.